So let's just recap the process costing, what were doing yesterday. In terms of the process costing, I told you process costing पे क्या होता है, you always have your inputs that gets converted into outputs, and output of each of the units will become my input for the next processes. Now we did this first question. Yeah, can you see the screen now? Yep. So we did this question where we were doing about process 1, process 2, process 3, and we were trying to figure out what is going to be the output of it. Then we did about the treatment of normal loss and abnormal loss. Does anyone have a doubt with how do we treat the normal loss and an abnormal loss? Did you guys do this question? I told you guys, whenever it's a case of a normal loss and the scrap value is 0, right? Did you guys do this question? I told you guys for a homework yesterday to do this question, process 1. So if you look into it, what they have done, basically we have considered the scrap value as 0. So finally the total cost divided by the number of units is going to give me my cost per unit. So the cost of 4750 units would become the 97,000. With scrap value, what do we do? I first fill up the scrap value column 500. So the balance amount, whatever is there, 96,500 becomes the cost of the 4750 units. Any doubt in these two? Guys, clear? Then abnormal loss with the process loss, what did I say? We will find the cost per unit. How do we find my cost per unit? Is basically I take the total cost minus the normal loss divided by the total number of units divided by the number of units minus my normal loss. Does anyone have a problem with this? The next part of the question is having a realizable value. What did I say when you have a realizable value? The abnormal gain. Any loss over and above my normal loss becomes my abnormal gain. Any of the questions you guys have a doubt on? Guys, any question with yesterday's concept? Are you guys extremely clear with it, yesterday's concept? So guys, okay, let's now get into a concept of equivalent units. What is this equivalent units all about? See, for an example, I'll give you this part, understand. I started production of 1000 units. I started production of 1000 units. End of the year, I could not complete 1000 units of production. What is this known as? You started off the production but you were not able to complete. What is this known as? Work in progress. Now when I am talking of work in progress, right? Now if you know, how do I find the value of cost per unit? How do I find the value of cost per unit? What's the formula to find cost per unit? Correct? Total cost divided by number of units. Now see, when I am saying this number of units, what does this number of units stand for? Is it the number of units sold or number of units produced during the year? Everyone is saying number of units produced. Now if you are saying number of units produced, I still have more problem. Now let's say I've spent 10 lakhs. I've spent 10 lakhs. 2000 units were completed, and that is completed means 2000 units were produced. 1000 units were work in progress. What is going to be your denominator now? What's going to be your denominator? I've spent 10 lakh rupees and I've produced 2000 units, and 1000 units are my work in progress. What is going to be my cost per unit? Is it going to be 10 lakh divided by 3000, or is it going to be 10 lakh divided by 2000? Or both are wrong? Suresh is like either 2000 or 3000. Okay. Now guys, see, I'll try giving a very simple example to understand what is this work in progress. What is this equivalent units of completion? Let's say I produced 1000 units, that is my work in progress. If I say work was completed to an extent of 50%, work was completed to an extent of what? 50%. What does this mean? Can I say that, boss, see here, the work in progress is 50%, I agree. But if I have to try finding out the completed units, okay, let me take an example of this. There is one guy, there is one side Suresh, another side Priyanka, who are given an option of drinking water is the competition. What's the competition? Competition is to drink water. Suresh drank, I gave 10 glasses. Suresh drank 5 glasses. And Priyanka, what she did? She drank all the 10 glasses, but to an extent of 50%. Did you understand? I have 10 glasses of water. Suresh drank 5 complete glasses. Priyanka drank all the 10 glasses, but she drank only 50% in each of it. In terms of the quantity, who's the winner? Is it Suresh? Is it Priyanka? Or is it a tie? It's a tie. So can I say Priyanka's 10 glasses of water, 50% completion is equal to 5 glasses of completed water? Yes, this is the same logic we are going to be using in the equivalent units. When I say, boss, 1000 units are 50% completed, what it means is an equivalent, I can say 500 units are completed. This concept is known as equivalent units. If you have understood, class over, leave. Did you guys understand it? Right, let's go further. Now in this part, right, we have two ways of calculating the work in progress in case of a process costing, either under a FIFO method or under a weighted average method. So let's try understanding each term one by one, so that it becomes easier in terms of our understanding of the question. Right, read the question. Opening work in progress, 1000 units, 60% complete. What does this mean? I want you guys to understand it very carefully. How many units were there? So there, and for a different question, that's going to be different completion. And maybe after I explain the entire thing, if you still have that doubt, maybe you will let me know on it. Okay, what were we saying? My opening work in progress, how many units were there? 1000 units. And what was the percentage of completion? 60%. Can I say in the last year they are completed to an extent of 600 units? That is, the cost has gone in to an extent of 600 units in the last year. Yes or no? Right? So this year I will be spending money to complete 400 equivalent units. Does anyone have any problem here? If I want to find the cost of this 1000 units, can I say I am going to be taking the cost incurred last year plus the cost incurred this year? Because it's not just completed in this year, right? It was completed some portion in the last year, some portion in the current year. So if I am trying to find the percentage of completion, can I do this? Did you understand? Because this is the major difference between a FIFO and a weighted average. So I want you guys to understand what I'm saying. See, I am trying to find out the cost of the 1000 units. When I'm trying to find out the cost of the 1000 units, what I'm trying to tell you guys is, see, did I produce 1000 units this year? So, out of those 1000 units, only to the extent of 40% was done this year. 60% of the cost was incurred in the last year. Therefore, if I want to find the cost of 1000 units, I need to take an equivalent cost of the last year 600 plus a 400 units equivalent cost in the current year. Did you understand this? And which method am I talking about? I am talking of a method called as FIFO. Please remember this. I am talking of a method called as FIFO. For this is how it's going to get applicable. Now, yesterday when I started process costing, I told you the process costing very important factor is I have to make sure my inputs are going to be matching with my outputs. Are you clear? My inputs are going to be matching with my outputs. Do you remember this? So, see the way I do my statement of equivalent production. My statement of equivalent production. One side I write my particulars and input. On other side I will write my particulars output. Then I will write percentage completed this year, then equivalent units. Are you clear? So we know what is input. What is input is basically the number of units which have been put into the production this year. Output is the number of units which were got completed last year. So first let me just fill up these four, because I told you input should match with my output. So what is my opening value? Opening inputs, how much is there? Opening work in progress 1000 units. Guys, I am not doing a process account, I am just doing a statement of equivalent production. So how many units do I have as input? 1000 units, 60% completion. So the input is how many? 1000, I already have it of the last year, plus units introduced during the period 10,000. So I have totally how many units which I have it at the for the current year for as an input? I have total 11,000 units. Niarya, I didn't ask for the equivalent production. I'm only asking for the number of units which I have it in total. Last year 1000 units what I have, plus this year I introduced 10,000 units. So in the input I will write opening WIP 1000, units introduced 10,000. So totally I have 11,000. Done. Now let me try looking into it. They are saying transfer to the next process 9,000 units. What does this mean? When will you transfer to the next process? You will be transferring it to the next process only when it is completed. Are you clear? You're going to, Farin, that's not closing stock. Transfer to the next process is my finished goods, because I told you finished goods of each process becomes an input for the next process. Are you guys clear? So transfer to the next process is how many units? 9,000 units, right? That means 9,000 units are completed. Now if I know FIFO, what is FIFO method? First in, first out. So can I say this 9,000 units, basically first I would have completed the 1000 units of WIP and 8,000 units would have been out of my current year. Yes or no? Should I repeat again? Should I repeat this? See, I'm following FIFO. What does FIFO say? Whatever is coming in first has to be going out first. Whatever is coming in first has to be go out first, right? So if I am trying to transfer 9,000 units, what is the first input I have? The first input what I have is the input of the last year. Last year I had an opening WIP of closer to around 1000 units. That is the one I will be completing it now, plus the additional 8,000 units, because 9 is what I have completed. So 1000 belongs to last year's incompleted unit, another 8,000 would have been out of the current year. Did you understand this? Everyone? No problem. So when I go to my output, see here, I'll write transfer to next process, out of which opening WIP is 1000 and my fresh inputs is around 8,000. Anyone, any doubt till here? Done? Then closing work in progress 800 units. So closing work in progress is my output is how many units? 800 units. Then normal loss is estimated at 10% of the input including the units in process at the beginning. %10 of the total inputs including the beginning. Total input, how many units I have? Total input 11,000. 11,000 ka 10% will be how much? So normal loss 1,100 units. Clear? Now check the total of input versus output. Is it matching? Where is there a difference? Is it on the input side or the output side? On the output side. Now what does that signify? We covered this concept yesterday. What does this signify? Thank you. It signifies my Did you understand this? Everyone understood? That's why I was yesterday stressing on input, output, input, output. Yesterday you were all laughing what this guy is doing, time pass. So today you will appreciate whatever you have learnt it yesterday. Done? I'll go to the next concept. Now let's go to just the output side and focus on it. Opening work in progress, how much percentage was completed this year? Wrong, Niharya. Suresh, you are wrong. Guys, in the opening work in progress, last year if 60% was completed, this year how much percentage are you guys going to complete? Shriyari, you're going to be completing What about fresh inputs? Did you start this year and complete this year? So can I say that fresh inputs would have been 100% completed? Does anyone have any problem here? No problem. Closing work in progress, they are saying how much percentage completed? How much percentage? 75. So I'll write here. Okay. Normal loss, how much percentage did you complete this year? Normal loss, how much percentage did you complete this year? 100%, 100 question mark. Okay. Everyone tell me this. How are you going to absorb the normal loss? Normal loss is transferred to costing P&L or normal loss is absorbed by the good units. A or B? Second one, right? That means please remember this as a standard. Whenever we do equivalent units of production, normal loss will always be 0. Normal loss will always be 0. Abnormal loss, if you remember yesterday's calculation, abnormal loss was taken on par with the number of units completed, yes or no? Do you remember I just multiplied the cost per unit into abnormal loss, right? If I am putting one star here so that you guys remember, whenever abnormal loss is given, if nothing is mentioned, we assume that it was 100% completed. Anyone, any doubt? Two major things you need to remember is these two. Normal loss 0, abnormal loss nothing given 100%. Right, now let's multiply. What is 1000 into 40%? For in see here, abnormal loss, yesterday when we did the calculation, if you remember, abnormal loss was done at the cost of good units, right? Abnormal loss was done at a cost of what? Good units, yes or no? Why would you take it as a good unit cost until and unless if it's not a completed unit? Right? So if nothing is mentioned in the question, again I am putting it across because in certain cases, normal loss will be absorbed by the good units, therefore it is 0, Suresh sir, because it will not be taken by the regular units, therefore it will be 0. Our Naveen came late to the class today, so as a punishment he will sing at the end of the class. Right? So equivalent units, see, I told you guys 1000 units were there. Did I complete 1000 units this year? The answer is no. We completed only how many units? 400. Fresh inputs, the entire 8000. Closing WIP 600. Normal loss 0, this is 100. So I am just multiplying this with this. So I end up getting the number of units produced, that is 9100. Are you clear till now? Now everyone, see here, I want you to read the question carefully. The opening work in progress 1000 units, 60% completed, cost is 1,10,000. What you can infer from this? What do you infer from this? Can I say that opening person 60% completion costed me 1,10,000? Thank you, Samina. Right? The units introduced during the period is 10,000 units, costing 19,30,000. Can I say 19,30,000 is the cost of the units which I started and completed this year? 19,30,000 is basically the cost what I started and completed this year. 19,30,000 is basically for the number of units which were completed during this year. How many ever units I have completed this year? You all told me at the beginning of the class today, cost per unit is calculated by the total cost divided by the number of units produced this year. It's the same thing I am repeating, Nivedita. Total cost divided by the number of units produced this year. Are you clear, Nivedita? Right? Normal loss is estimated. Scrap value realized 10 rupees per unit. So we are dealing of what case? We are doing with normal loss and abnormal loss both having a scrap value. Luckily in this question they have already given scraps are 100% complete. We have to follow is the FIFO method. Now look into the way I do my calculation. My step 1 is calculation of equivalent cost units. Are you clear? Second one is computation of cost incurred. Yesterday's I want you to tell me what was my cost per unit formula. I want the entire formula. What was my cost per unit formula? My cost per unit formula was what? Total cost minus scrap value of the normal loss divided by total inputs minus normal loss, right? So I am just focusing on this one now. What is the total cost incurred this year? 19,30,000. Correct? Yes or no? Less scrap value of normal loss. What is the scrap value of normal loss? Per unit you are getting 10 units, 10 rupees, and you are having 1100 units, that comes to 11,000. So my total cost is going to be 19,19,000. Yes or no? Right? Now the number of units denominator, I will be taking the equivalent units. I will be taking the equivalent units. What was the equivalent units? I already did the calculation, it is 9,100. Therefore, my cost per unit will be 19,19,000 divided by 9,100 Are you all clear? So the second change I am doing is here, that is I am directly taking the equivalent units. As a student I never understood this chapter, so I hope I am making it simpler for you guys so that you don't lose your 12 marks of your paper. Till here whatever I have done, I'll repeat it once because you need to understand it very clearly, because students generally have this habit of getting confused between the FIFO and the weighted average. So I'm just going a little slow with regards to it. Now see here, my step 1, I took the statement of equivalent production. Now under the statement of equivalent production, my challenge is what? To make sure that the input matches with my output. What is a FIFO method? A FIFO method is a method where my inputs will be whatever my initial inputs are, that is the one which is going to go forward or go out first. So since I have 1000 units of my opening work in progress, out of my 9,000 units which have been transferred to the finished goods, the first 1000 units are going to be my work in progress units, right? Work in progress units were completed to an extent of 60% last year. So this year I will be completing only to the extent of 40%. Is everyone clear with this? Second part, normal loss ka cost will be absorbed by the good units. Therefore, the percentage of completion of the normal loss will be given as 0. Third thing, abnormal loss, please always search in the question have they given you the percentage of completion. If nothing is given, take it as 100%, or else whatever percentage is given, take it. Once you multiply the output with the percentages, you will get the total number of units, that is the equivalent units, which is going to help me in the formula of cost per unit. Why? Because cost per unit formula is simple, total cost minus normal loss divided by the number of units, and the number of units here I shall be taking is going to be the equivalent units which I calculated in step 1. Are you all clear? Are you guys clear? To find the total cost, if there is a scrap value, I will always reduce the scrap value of the normal loss. So out of my total cost, out of my total loss of total cost of 19,30,000, I shall be reducing the 11,000 rupees. So therefore, I will end up getting the cost per unit, that is 19,19,000 divided by 9,100, which comes to 218.88. If you are clear till now, you are done with 8 marks of your paper. Now, let me do the next step, trying to find out the cost. So we call this statement as statement of evaluation. First thing, let me find out the cost of WIP. Okay, if I have to find the cost of WIP, see here, I already of 1000 units, this year I have completed work only to the extent of 400 units. Yes or no? This 400 units, my cost was 210.88, correct? Because I found the cost per unit, multiply it, which is 84352. Yes or no? Right? Now, is this the total cost of opening WIP? The answer is no. Why? Because, correct madam, when I say 400 units, see out of 1000 units, when I say 40% completed, I am assuming that 400 units are completed during this year. So I am taking the completed units only, no. If I would have taken 1000 into 210.88, it was wrong. I have only taken for 40%. That's why equivalent production, no madam. Fareen madam. Sure, no madam. Okay, but my question is the value of the opening WIP 84352? Is the value of 1000 units 84352? Why no, Amoda? Why are you saying it no? Correct, I am talking of. So I want you to tell me, if I tell you guys opening WIP 1000 units ka value, you tell me what is it going to be? Is it 84352? Thank you, Shreyas. 60% is completed last year, 40% is completed this year. 60% ka cost was 1,1,000. That is 1,10,000 is the cost which already was included last year. This year I have incurred 84,352. So my total cost of my opening WIP is 194,352. Are you clear? Now, cost of units started and completed this year. Started and completed this year. What do you think? The units started and completed this year, can I say is 8,000 units? So that comes to 16. Guys, done? Next one, what is going to be my cost of normal loss? Correct? 1100 units into 10. What will be my cost of abnormal loss? Cost of abnormal loss will be 100. What will be the cost of closing WIP? Closing WIP, the number of units were 800, but completed during the year is only 75%, which comes to 600, which is 600 into 210 point. Did you all understand this? Now guys, let's go to the next one, weighted average method, and let's try understanding how does this weighted average method work. Okay, now the difference between a weighted average method and the FIFO method is simple. Under a weighted average, we don't bifurcate between the opening WIP and the closing WIP. We just try completing the table as it is. Now let me understand. The first table, what I was doing is the statement of equivalent production. Okay, now everyone see here, this is what I was doing under my FIFO method. Yes or no? Now the difference between a FIFO and a weighted average is this bifurcation will not happen. This bifurcation will not happen. I will consider the 9,000 units 100% is completed this year. Did you understand this? Guys, please be very careful. That's why I'm doing both the things simultaneously so that you understand the difference. Like I was telling, during my student days, I literally struggled to understand this without a teacher. and only after my exams I understood what it really is. So I'm trying to make it more simpler for you guys. Did you understand this portion? So I am not going to bifurcate any 60%, 40%. I'll come, whatever units have been completed this year, I'll assume this will continue to be the same. This will also continue to be. So what is the number of equivalent units completed this year? Can I say 9,700? Done. This is the first difference. Did you understand, all of you? Now second difference, let me come here. Now here what am I taking for the cost incurred? I am taking the cost incurred minus the normal loss, yes or no? Right? If I am doing the same thing for the weighted average, what happens is, see here, what happens, see here guys, I shall be considering not only the cost incurred till now, but also the cost of the opening WIP. What is the cost of the opening WIP? 1,10,000. So I'll consider this and then I will find the total cost. So my total cost for a weighted average will include opening WIP plus the process cost minus the scrap value. So that comes to, are you clear? So I am highlighting it so that when you are studying, you should be able to understand where the difference is. Pakka understood? Priyanka, under a FIFO method, right? My cost, okay, under, okay, 9,700. Priyanka, in this one, when we did the, what do you say, FIFO method, we took just the, see here, we just took 40% of the opening inventory and 100% of the units introduced this year. Whereas under weighted average, I don't divide this at all. I'm not going to divide this into 40-50%. Whatever 9,000 units have been completed this year, I will assume that 100% is done this year only under weighted average. So 9,000, then closing WIP is 600, normal loss 0, abnormal loss 100, total comes to 9,700. Done? Now the statement of equivalent production is extremely easy. Why easy? Because I am not differentiating anything between an opening stock and a closing stock. Now see here, whatever units are completed this year, 9,000 units, I will take it with the, so my cost per unit will become 20,29,500. 20,29,500 divided by 9,700, which is going to give me 209.18. My cost per unit will become 209.18, which I will apply it for the equivalent units. That is, my opening and the number of units completed this year will be taken at 209, abnormal loss 100 units 209, closing WIP 600 units at 209. Did you all understand this portion? Done? Okay. Now the last question is simple. What is that we are doing? See, when we are trying to transfer, if you see what we did under a process costing till now, whatever was the cost under the process 1, input came in, direct material, direct labor, direct expenses. This used to be my output, normal loss, abnormal loss. This output used to become my input for the next process, that is process 2. Correct? Guys, yes or no? Right? Now, when we were doing this, we were transferring to the next process at cost price. Okay, clear till now? Now the topic I am saying is, see, you will have direct material, direct labor, direct expenses. You're going to be transferring it to the next process, but not at cost, but at selling price. The moment you are doing it at selling price, the moment you are doing it at selling price, there will be a new addition. What is the addition? The moment you are doing at selling price, correct Suresh, there is going to be a profit element, and profits are going to be recognized on my debit side. This is the new concept. Understood everyone? Are you guys clear till now? Done? So see this question. The only challenge, guys, in this question is how to remove the profits from the closing stock. That is the only trick which is difficult. If you can get that right, easy. But even if I don't know anything, I still can do a lot of part of the question. Let me just read the question carefully. A limited product X passes through two processes before it is completed and transferred to the finished goods. So what is happening? Process 1, process 2, and then it is going to go to finished goods, and then it's going to get sold. Output of process 1 is transferred to process 2 at 25% of the transfer price. Second one, output 2 is transferred to finished goods at 20% profit on the transfer price. Stock in process is valued at prime cost. Stock in process is valued at prime cost, that is the closing stock is valued at the cost of direct material, direct labor and direct expenses. Finished goods is valued at a price at which it is received from process 2. Sales during the year, prepare process accounts. I didn't understand head or tail of it, but let me just try doing the logic, whatever I have told you, and then we'll try building upon that, right? Because it's always better to build more around doing what we know. This is how I approach all my exam questions. What I do is, whatever I know, I'll put it across first. After that, whatever is not there, those are the things that I'll break my head later into. Understood? So let's start. First one, I'm going to make my process 1 account. Okay, whenever there is an inter-process costing, I would always prefer if you can do 3 tables, that is particulars, total, cost, profit, particulars, total, cost, profit. Let's check, is there any opening stock? 7,000. Guys, I'll read the numbers as it is so that it becomes easier. Material 7,500, 30,000, wages, factory overheads, closing stock 3,700. The only clue I need to remember is stock in progress is valued at the prime cost. So what I do, see here, opening stock, cost is 7,500, there is no profit element included, 7,500. Direct material 15,000, direct labor 11,200. Okay, generally in most of the questions they will not be giving you the closing stock. In this question they have given me the closing stock, so good for me and good for them. So what I'll do is, see, I have an option of either writing closing stock here or I can reduce it here. Okay, and whenever it's an inter-process costing, I would prefer if you can reduce it from your cost on the debit side itself, because it will help me to find out the profit element. So I'll do 3,700, which has been deducted as my closing stock. Therefore I'll get my prime cost as there's no profit involved till now, so I'm not bothered about it. Plus I will add my overheads 10,500. So this is the cost of the goods what I need to transfer. Now at what profit are they transferring? They are transferring at what? 25% of the transfer price. So how much is going to be my profit? How much will be my profit? 40,500 into 25%. If you guys do this, this is wrong. Why? Because this is not the transfer price, this is my cost price. Are you clear? So whenever they give me a transfer price of sale price, what did I say? I'm going to be using this formula: cost, profit, selling price. Selling price is 100, profit is 25, therefore cost becomes 75. Here my cost is 40,500, do the cross multiplication, that is 40,500 into 25 divided by 75, which comes to 13,500. So I'll be transferring it at what? 54,000. So my profit is 13,500. So I'll be transferring it at 54,000. Did you all understand this? So this will become my, goes to my process to how much? 54,000, out of which my cost is 40,500 and profit is 13,500. Did you all understand this? In different books they do differently, so you can follow whichever is required. Either you want, you can take the closing stock here or you can reduce it there, anything is fine. Now let me come to process 2. Now in process 2, my first thing I will be getting is from process 1, correct? But before I get from process 1, let me take the opening stock. Now let me take the opening stock. Guys, are you clear? Okay, now let me come to the process 2. And I want you guys to tell me, I have an opening stock of 9,000. Does this 9,000 opening stock include profit? Where they have already told me here, that this 9,000 includes a profit of 1,500. Are you guys clear? I am not finding anything, so later don't scold me. It's given in the question that there is an inter-process profit of 1,500 included in the stock. So see here the way I write, to opening stock, total, then I have my cost, then I have my profit, then I have again particulars, cost and profit, right? So to opening stock 9,000, cost is 7,500, profit is 1,500. Is everyone clear? Then what is transferred from process 1? 54,000, out of which profit included is 13,500 and the cost is 40,500. These two parts, are you clear? Okay. Now I'll add my other cost, that is my direct material, direct labor and direct expenses. To direct material, 11,250, direct wages, sorry, I think the direct material cost is 15,750, 15,750, direct wages 11,250, right? So I don't have any more direct expense, so I will reduce my closing stock. Now I want you guys to look into this closing stock. What is the difference between this closing stock and this closing stock? First one is at cost price, okay, and the second one? No, that's not the right one. The first one is cost price, second one is also at cost price, but what happens is in the second one, there is an element of profit included. The first one is also at cost price, second one is also at cost price, but the second one includes a profit element and I need to just know the cost part of it. So how do I do it? See here, what I would suggest is, guys, do the total of all of this. Do the total of all of this, that is 54, 67, 90,000, cost 40, 50, 75,000, and this will be Are you clear? So I am just doing the total of it. Now they are telling me to closing stock is 4,500, correct? To closing stock is 4,500, yes or no? Everyone? Yeah, this 4,500, what is there? What I will do, I'll do a cross multiplication between these two. Because if 90,000 is my price, total price, cost is 75. So if 4,500 is the price, so how much is going to be my cost? Do the cross multiplication. It becomes 3750. 4,500 minus 3750 is what? 750 becomes my profit element. Are you clear? Done. Now I'll add my process overheads cost. So my prime cost will be 40, because the total value minus my closing stock value, which will be 85,500, 71,250 and 14,250. My overheads cost is 4,500. Therefore, this becomes 90,000. Okay, now at what price they want you to transfer? They want you to transfer at 20% of the on the transfer price. They want you to transfer at what? 20% of the profit. Are you going to be calculating, guys? See here. Are you going to be calculating 20% of 90,000, 20% of 75,000? Okay. You know the best part is both are wrong. All are wrong for a reason. Guys, again they are saying it is 20% of the transfer price. The moment they say transfer price, what do? Again write the table: cost, profit, selling price. Selling price is 100, profit is 20, therefore cost is 80. Now I will take my cost price as 90,000. I'll take my cost price as what? 90,000. If I do the math, the profit will become 22,500. Therefore, my selling price will become 112,500. Are you clear? So, I will write profit 22,500. Therefore, I'll be transferring it at 112,500. Yeah. Now comes the next part. When I go to the finished goods, my finished goods I am transferring 112,500. My cost price is 75,750 and the profit is 36,750. Are you guys clear? Done. Now let me come to the process 3. Now opening stock, how much profit is included? $8250. So now look into it. Guys, I want you to just observe this carefully because there is some bit of challenge which I am going to be having now. Okay. I have a opening stock which is 22,500, 11,250, 8250, right? No problem with this. This is again not a problem because this is coming from the previous process. Okay. Now see here, there is no other cost here except the closing stock of 11,250. The moment they tell me that I know what has to be done, I'll take the value of closing stock here, do the cross multiplication to find the cost. Yes or no? Same as the previous step, I'm just going to take the closing stock, do the cross multiplication to find out the profit. Are you clear? Done. Now this gives me my profit element. Done. Now they are selling, the goods are sold for 1,40,000. I'll only be writing this column. Goods are sold for 1,40,000. Okay. Goods are sold for 1,40,000. This is the finished stock value. This is the finished stock value. So difference between this minus this becomes what? my profit. Now see here, this minus this, why is this profit and this profit different is the question. Guys, here from the total I removed the cost, I ended up getting profit of 57575. Here when I did it, I am taking it from 163. What's the difference between both the profits? If you answer it right, you can all leave for the day. What is this? Okay, guys, see here. This profit, right, 57 is the overall process profit. Thanks, Suresh. Right? So for me, when I'm doing my process account, this is the profit I'll be recording it because this is only for that particular finished goods. But when I see the overall, this is the profit I've earned from the beginning. Because cost can never change. 41,425 profit I've recognized till now. I will be recognizing only the balance profit, that is 16,250 in this year or in this process. Are you guys clear? Should I repeat this again? This is just about writing the balancing figure. Anyone wants me to repeat this again? Closing stock figures, Pratham. I didn't arrive at the closing stock figure here, Pratham. See, in the question, they have told me the closing stock is 11,250. Okay, closing stock is 11,250. I know closing stock is at a profitable value. So I have to find out the cost values because I have to find the closing stock at cost. So I took the, I had this. So from this I took the closing stock 11,250 given in the question. I did the cross multiplication so that I end up getting the cost price of it. Pratham, did you not? Which one? Pratham, one sec, sorry. Okay, guys, sorry, thanks Pratham for bringing it up. No, Pratham, it's right, sorry. Amoda, thank you for bringing it up. It clearly says the finished stock is valued at the price at which it is received from process 2. So basically it is gonna be this value 11,250, right? You're gonna be doing the cross multiplication with 75,750 divided by 11,112,500 because this is valued at process 2. Sorry, my mistake. This is the disadvantage of not doing through a book. Are you guys clear? Sorry, thanks Pratham for bringing it up, or else people who, thank you so much. Done? So guys, go back and do all your questions of the practice kit. So we are done this week with what all chapters? What all chapters did we do this week? We did cost sheet, job costing, batch costing, contract costing, then we did process costing. Now how many marks you will be getting out of it? 24 to 30 marks. So last week we covered 24 marks, this week we covered another 24 marks. That means you should be done with clearing your exams. So costing classes are over, so you guys enjoy sitting at home. Correct, no? So before we come in, we will be doing the extension of this process costing on Monday's class. So guys, please complete all the practice. And I want you guys to be on par with me, and any doubts are there because I've kept 3 days just for your doubt clearing session, so that we are done with it. And like I said, I would not be available once your sessions are over. So anything is there, you have to get it clarified once my last class is over. Or there will be another teacher who would help you out. I won't be in a position to help you out. So I'm trying to do only 1.5 to 2 hours a day so that you guys get enough time to practice. And as I told you, costing will be done along with me. I don't expect you guys to study later once the class is over. You only have to revise. And I'm giving you one more chance by Monday to be on par with me. Okay, happy Independence Day. Enjoy yourself. Have a great evening. Thank you guys.